What's up, G Show Land, and welcome to another episode of the G Show Podcast. I am G1, and this is the Geek Out. It's Monday, July 17th, and what a crazy week it's been. I mean, from movie trailers to Godzilla -1. Woo-hoo-hoo. Some unfortunate stuff like the strike going on in Hollywood right now that's shutting down production on some high-profile projects, as well as canceling some Comic-Con panels. We're going to get into all that. But first, we got to take a look at the box office. You know how we do. This is the Geek Out every Monday. We do it. We got to look at the box office numbers for the weekend and answer the question, did Tom Cruise save the box office this weekend? Well, answer to that is, that depends on how you see it. Because here's the deal. For all intents and purposes, Tom Cruise's Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1, which is a mouthful, should have crushed this weekend at the box office. But, how can I put this without sounding so rude? I don't think it did. I honestly don't think it did. Now, let's take into account that it has accumulated $80 million, which is great. It's like the first movie since, like, I would say, I guess, Spider-Man. And that was at the beginning of June to get there in its opening, weekend. But we also got to take into the fact that it wasn't an opening weekend. That movie opened on Wednesday, which means it had its previews on Tuesday. So when you take that into account and then just go by Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, that's how I got to look at it, right? That's really how I have to look at it. And I know a lot of people are going to be like, no, 80 million's great. But let's break this down. Because from Friday to Sunday, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 only took in $55 million. Now, some might say, oh, that's not bad. What? Are you out of your mind? $55 million? That's what The Flash took in its opening weekend. This movie, if it would have just been Friday to Sunday, this movie would have made less than what Indiana Jones opened with in its opening weekend, which was Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and that took in $60 million opening weekend. But you gotta factor in that Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday revenue, and yeah, it jumps it up to $80 million, and I'm over here and I'm like, what the heck is going on? Are people just not going to the theaters anymore? Do people not care? Last year, when Tom Cruise dropped Top Gun Maverick, which is a movie I had no intention of seeing, zero, but I lost a bet, and I had to go see the movie, and I did not hate the movie. I didn't hate it, but it wasn't something that I went and was like, I gotta go see it again and again, and I can't wait to buy it. I don't own it. It was good. I watched it when it was on Paramount Plus. That's how I did it. After the fact, I did pay to see it in theaters. But that movie made crazy money. It made $1 billion. And here we are, Mission Impossible 7. I think this is the 7th one. And yeah, I mean, even though it's 80 million, it's 80 million for almost a week's worth of totals. If I'm just going by the weekend, I don't know if it would have been 55 million. If it was going by the weekend, I'd be a little generous, and I'd give it probably 63 million. But yeah, there was no way it was going to make 80 million. I mean, hell, who knows? Maybe in the 3 days it could have made 80 million. Maybe that many people would have went to see it, but I'm not sure. As it stands right now, it is $80 million for the opening from Wednesday to Sunday, but I'm looking at Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and that's only 55 million, man. And in all honesty, I'm going to say Tom Cruise did not save the box office. But what's going on? Why is this happening? Is there a boycott since The Flash to go to the movies? Spider-Man did well. Little Mermaid was decent enough. Transformers won their opening weekend. It wasn't a big debut, but it won its opening weekend, and I was very proud of it. I was very happy for it. What the heck is going on? I don't know. I honestly thought because the way The Flash flopped and Indiana Jones flopped, that this movie, Dead Reckoning, Mission Impossible with Tom Cruise, was going to soar and just make all the money and make you know, the movie chain, the movie theater chains feel good about having these movies in the theaters. It didn't. So now what do? Well, we look to this week. What's this week? Barbie and Oppenheimer, which is crazy because I kind of do want to see that Barbie movie. It looks funny as hell. It looks like it doesn't take itself seriously, yet it's going to. It's got the kind of comedy I chuckle and laugh at, and I'll cackle to it. But it also seems like it has heart. I like the cast. Margot Robbie does no wrong in my book. She's good. I'm not talking about her Harley Quinn either, because I think she overdoes it with Harley Quinn. But I like her. I think she's a really great actress. So, and then Ryan Gosling is Ryan Gosling. I mean, like, him playing Ken makes me laugh so much in them trailers. I'm just like, this dude is having a blast. And you can see it. So, coming from a family where, you know, I have my wife and my daughter, and then it's just me, I'm kind of overruled. But unlike The Little Mermaid, where I was like, I refuse, I'm actually going to be like, yo, let's go see Barbie. I'll take y'all, no problem. And then there's Oppenheimer, which, funny little side note, we're calling the Godzilla -1 prequel, which is a terrible thing to do. Terrible. But if you get it, you get it. If you know, you know. But then you have that Christopher Nolan stuff, and it's Nolan. Nolan's movies make money, right? But I'm not 100% certain if people are going out in droves to see Oppenheimer, especially because Barbie's around. I mean, now, don't get me wrong. You're going to have cinephiles that have been like, I'm not going to see Barbie. I'd rather see Oppenheimer. I want like a deep, dramatic movie to get my juices flowing. And I get that. But like me personally, I can wait for that movie to come on HBO Max or Max, whatever it's called right now, or whatever streaming service is going to pop up on. I don't need to rush out and see that. Like, I enjoy Nolan's Batman trilogy. I thoroughly enjoyed The Prestige. I like Interstellar. I would be lying to you if I said Inception was my jam. I shut that movie off early on into it. Maybe it's because it was way over my head and way too smart for me. I don't know. Could be. Could possibly be. I just didn't get into it. And I didn't see Dunkirk, and I heard a lot of bad things about Tenet in regards to sound design. So whether that's intentional or not on Nolan's part, but I always remember listening to Tom Hardy as Bane and not understanding a word he was saying. Get out of here with that madness. Worst Batman movie in that trilogy. But yeah, I mean, so will it be now Barbie and Christopher Nolan saving Hollywood? No, not Hollywood, but the movie theaters, the blockbusters. I saw a phrase thrown around this week that I lost my mind. I thought it was hysterical and was called the flopbuster. That works in like every way possible. I laughed a lot. That it makes sense. And it's just crazy thinking about, are we living in this time right now where Hollywood can't buy a bucket? Like, they just can't buy one. They can't, because here's the deal. $80 million is nothing to scoff at, right? But again, that's a total from Wednesday to Sunday. Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning, I think, cost like $2-something, almost $300 million to make. It's got to make money. Like, it has to. It has to crush. Now, here's the deal. Got to give it up. Because apparently, domestically, America, we're not going to the movies. But the rest of the world is, because the rest of the world, in its whatever 5 days from Wednesday to Friday, whenever Sunday, made $155 million. So that's not bad. Worldwide right now, this movie's sitting at $235 million. That's not bad. It's not covering the cost to make the movie and all the production and the promotion for it, but that's not bad. It can only go up. Tom Cruise has longevity in theaters. Like, he does. He has longevity with people. People might not rush out to see him, But let's say like this Wednesday coming up, for instance, random day, and let's say it's like a discounted day, and theaters are packed for Dead Reckoning. That's one way to make its money back. So we'll see at the end of this run. We'll see where it stands. But as of right now, I'm going to say it was a disappointment, and the trend continues, starting with The Flash, which, again, there were plenty of reasons why The Flash flopped. Whether, Ezra Miller was canceled, whatever the case may be. And then Indiana Jones, I gave my feelings on that. I could not stand that movie. But this movie didn't seem like it was going to flop like that. This movie seemed like it had the potential to buck the trend. But apparently it didn't. It's still there. It's still in the trend. We'll see next week when we talk about Barbie and Oppenheimer and where this box office stands there. But who knows? Maybe it's the strike messing everything up too. Because it could be. It could be. Let's talk about that strike while we're here. Because I think we need to. And I'm not going to get into details. I'm not going to. All I'm going to talk about is what it's affecting. And that right now is a couple of movies. Maybe some TV shows. I'm not going to get into TV shows, honestly. But I've got a list up here from Variety about the movies that this strike is affecting. And I'm going to name off the movies that particularly is in my domain, in the geek world. So like Beetlejuice 2, which I'll be honest, I don't know why that movie's even happening. Why now? But okay. I ain't mad at it, but Beetlejuice 2 shut down because of the strike. Deadpool 3, especially after last week seeing the pictures of Hugh Jackman in the yellow suit looking all groovy as Wolverine. Classic costume. Well, that got shut down too while the strike's going on. Here's another sequel I didn't see coming and don't think I want to see anyway. Gladiator 2. What? Are you kidding me? Gladiator 2 now. Russell Crowe's not in this movie because that would make no sense. He died at the end of Gladiator 1. Spoilers if you ain't seen it. That movie came out, I think, in 1996 or 7. It's old. But, it's shocking that they're making a Gladiator 2 whatever. But that's getting shut down now. Lilo and Stitch. Live action adaptation. Which, honestly, I think Disney should just stop doing these live action adaptations, I should say. I'm tired of them. I'm not watching all of them anyway. I can't say I am. But I didn't watch, Pinocchio, which I did want to. But then I was like, nah. I didn't watch Peter Pan one. I didn't see The Little Mermaid. The Lion King kind of drew the line in the sand for me. I was kind of disappointed with The Lion King because that's one of the best Disney movies ever. And the live-action movie just didn't hit. At least not for me. Here's a movie I didn't know that was coming out that got, postponed due to this strike. Minecraft, the movie. Are you kidding me? They're making a Minecraft movie? I don't know. Mortal Kombat 2. Oh, boy. Listen, I couldn't stand that rebooted Mortal Kombat. Not that it... No, let me not say that. It does suck. It was terrible. I didn't like it at all. You put that shit right next to Mortal Kombat Annihilation in my book. It's terrible. It's terrible. The only thing Mortal Kombat Annihilation had going for it was a dope soundtrack. Not even that dope. It wasn't as good as the first movie soundtrack, but the soundtrack was all right. But that movie outside of that sucked. And so did that rebooted Mortal Kombat that came out in 2019 or whenever it came, 2021, whenever it came out. It was terrible. I hate it. So Mortal Kombat 2 got delayed. Good. I hope they never finish it. Venom 3 is getting delayed. I like Venom 1. I did not like Let There Be Carnage. Wasn't my thing. I was like, all right, whatever. I guess you continue it. Sony, you see Sony. Sony doesn't care. They put bangers after bangers when it comes to Spider-Man, but where everything in the Spider-Man universe kind of falls apart. I'm looking at you, Craven. Better poster than trailer, I'll tell you that much. And then the last thing that I'll talk about here as far as this strike affecting things in Hollywood, I'm actually shocked about this one. Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 2. I thought this movie was already in the can. I thought they did what Peter Jackson did with Lord of the Rings, filmed them back to back, dropped one, and then just finished up whatever, special effects or whatever reshoots might have been needed just to tidy it up. But apparently, it's according to this Variety article, it says that Dead Reckoning Part 2 has completed most of its major action sequences, but still has more filming to do. That's crazy. I really thought it was in the can, especially because it's coming out next year or slated to come out next year. So I figured, yeah, perfect. Dead Reckoning 1, July, middle of the year. Dead Reckoning 2, a whole year from that. Perfect. They're pretty much done. Apparently they're not. So, that is, as far as movies go, things that are being affected by the strike. And again, I'm not going to get into the details of the strike. I'm not in Hollywood. I don't know. More power to people trying to get more money. That's the way I look at it, right? But the strike is also affecting Comic-Con. And that kind of throws a monkey wrench in my book, because Legendary was supposed to be at Comic-Con. They were supposed to showcase Dune 2, but they were also supposed to showcase Godzilla x Kong, The New Empire. And now that that's not going to happen because they pulled out of Comic-Con in solidarity with the strikers, I'm disappointed. It hurts. And that's just me being greedy. Very selfish and greedy. I don't care. I am who I am. But I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one feeling like this. And it's because I'm greedy. Like I said, I want more. We just, last Tuesday got Toho dropping the teaser trailer, 30 seconds of Godzilla -1. And as a Godzilla fan, I was through the roof. I loved it. We did several podcasts about it. It was such a good time. People loving it across the board. A little, back to basics, if you will, for Toho and Godzilla. So I was hoping that maybe, just maybe, Legendary at Comic-Con would maybe give a little props to that. Say, hey, if it wasn't for Toho doing their thing, we wouldn't be making these types of movies right now. And if you haven't seen it, go check out the trailer for Godzilla -1. This is something I would do. I would totally cross-promotion. I would totally cross-promotion. But, I don't know that we're not going to get that now because, they're not going to be at Comic-Con anymore. So, that's upsetting, It really is upsetting. I would have loved to see what they were going to talk about there, but that's neither here nor there. Let's talk trailers, okay? Let's talk trailers. Let's get out of Hollywood for a minute. I'll stay in there too. But let's talk trailers. The first trailer I want to talk about, honestly, is that new Blue Beetle trailer that dropped last week. And it was all these trailers dropped either during the podcast or right after the podcast. So I didn't get to talk about them until now. But that Blue Beetle trailer, I don't know about y'all, but to me it seemed like they were showing way too much. A lot going on in that trailer. And I'm not going to review it. I'm not going to break it down. I just want to know if y'all seen the trailer, if y'all felt the same way I felt. Because that trailer, I think, was like 2 minutes. Maybe 2 minutes and 30 seconds. I don't remember. But holy crap, it felt like they showed pretty much all the Blue Beetle stuff. I did see Crimson Dynamo. That was pretty cool. I like that. I was like, oh snap, Crimson Dynamo. I can dig it. But I don't know. I think that might have been Warner Brothers paranoid and freaking out because of The Flash, and they're overcompensating. That's how I felt. That's how I felt. Again, it was way too much things they showed. But at the same time, if you're going to market this towards kids, adolescents and maybe young teenagers, then this might be the way to do it. Catch them while they're not on their phones, right? Or even if they were on their phones and they were looking at the trailer through their phones. But catch them while they're not on the phones and let that register showing them a bunch of crazy, colorful sequences with Jaime as the Blue Beetle, doing its Blue Beetle thing. So maybe that's what they're going for, but I just feel like this is overcompensating because of the poor returns of The Flash. And speaking of poor returns of The Flash, you know that movie is dropping on digital tomorrow, the 18th. July 18th. You can get The Flash on digital. That movie's only been in theaters for a month, so they didn't even do the 45-day thing. It's that bad. It's a total tax write-off, and that's sad. That's sad. I wonder if Disney will do that to Indiana Jones. Not that I'm going to watch that movie again, but it'd be funny to see. But then again, it's Disney. They don't do things like that. But yeah, let me know. Do you feel like that Blue Beetle trailer overcompensated because of The Flash? They show too much. They're like, please come see this movie. We need y'all to see this movie because, we got superheroes out the wazoo coming up. You tell me. Another trailer that dropped last week was Peacock's Twisted Metal TV show. Oh boy. Now, Twisted Metal is, the video game, PlayStation, Sony, back on the PlayStation 1, Twisted Metal 1, Twisted Metal 2. I believe there was a Twisted Metal 3. Then the PS2 came out, Twisted Metal Black. There might have been one more game in there, maybe two more games in there somewhere. But there hasn't been a Twisted Metal game since that. I don't think there's been ever a Twisted Metal game on a PS3. I could be mistaken. And I'm absolutely, positively sure there's been no Twisted Metal games for the PS4 nor PS5. So they're making a TV show. And the trailer dropped. I remember I saw the first teaser trailer / I guess fight sequence between Anthony Mackie and Samoa Joe, who's playing Sweet Tooth, of all people. That's crazy. I kind of dig that. But I remember watching that and being like, this is absolutely terrible. Like, I hated it. I was like, what the hell is this? But that was a couple months ago. This new trailer they showed gave more of the story. I don't know. I'm not in on it. Twisted Metal's something hard to do, I would assume, to try to make it a show. Because the game's all it is total car carnage. Like, legit. It's vehicle carnage. You drive around in these crazy vehicles, shooting at other crazy vehicles, trying to dominate the board to advance to the next level. And it's fun. It's crazy fun. I don't know why Sony hasn't dropped another one of those yet. It's been too long. But it's crazy fun. So how do you translate that to the small screen in this case? I don't think they did. I can't say that I haven't seen it. All I'm going by is the trailer. Not a fan. This is I'm kind of bummed by it too. I am kind of bummed because I'm like, all right, it can't that fight scene in Vegas or a casino, wherever they were, that first thing they dropped was horrifying. It was so bad. It was downright terrible. So I was like hoping that this would be better. It's a little more the same. You see more characters and stuff, but I don't know. Maybe it's just I'm getting up there in age and I just don't care no more. That could be it. But at the same time, with Sony not dropping a Twisted Metal game in God knows how long, then I am the demographic they're freaking trying to reach because I was playing it in its heyday. So I'm confused. Maybe I am. I don't know. But yeah, that Twisted Metal trailer, I was just like, I don't know. Maybe I'll wait for all the reviews and then, base my opinions off of that. Base my want to see this show off of that. I have Peacock because I like wrestling, and it's got the WWE Network, so I get to watch my pay-per-views. But let's talk about this last trailer. And I gotta be honest. Oh boy! The Ahsoka trailer. Star Wars Ahsoka. Dave Filoni's creation from the Clone Wars, utilized in the great Rebels animation, brought live action into The Mandalorian, and now starring in her own show, live action. I loved it. It felt like Star Wars to me. It really did. The character, I've been with this character since the Clone Wars through Rebels and now up to where she's at here, and it just feels right. And I have a lot of faith in Dave Filoni because he has not done me wrong. He has not done me wrong. Now, I'm not a fan of Andor, and I'm not a fan of the Obi-Wan show. I did not like them. Obi-Wan, too many contradictions leading up to A New Hope. You can't do that. You just can't do that. I don't care what anybody says. You can't do that. And Andor, I don't know. I know where his story ends. He gets blown up from the Death Star. The Death Star destroys him. So I don't care. I don't care about this dude. I don't care about the beginning of the rebellion. All I need to know is that the rebellion was happening and the Empire was trying to crush it at the beginning of A New Hope. That's it. I'm in. I don't need to see the genesis of it. Even though you kind of see it in, like, Revenge of the Sith, the beginnings. But I digress. This Ahsoka trailer had me screaming. I was like happy. I was clapping. I was all in. Like, yeah, get it. Get it. And then you see Grand Admiral Thrawn, and I was like, okay, you win. I didn't know if they was gonna pull it off the right way. I gotta be honest. I had my reservations about it. I was worried. But they pulled it off. They pulled it off. I sat there and I said, damn, son, that looks good. That looks real good. So I think that comes out the last week of August. So, we got a month and some change to go. I can't wait. I can't wait. Out of all the trailers I've seen from last week, this is the one that has me like, yo, I'm on board. I'm on board. Because again, like, I saw Obi-Wan, I watched Andor, wasn't feeling neither one of them. I really did enjoy She-Hulk. This is all Disney Plus stuff. I really did enjoy She-Hulk, but I could not get into Moon Knight, which is crazy. I got to go back and watch that. I have not watched an episode of Secret Invasion. Not yet. I'm waiting for the last episode to come so I can watch all of it. But yeah, no, Ahsoka is going to be... And I haven't watched The Mandalorian Season 3. I watched the first 10 minutes of the first episode, and I tried to watch it 3 times now, and all 3 times, I was just like, you know what, I'll come back to it. Not that I don't want to see it. It's just for whatever reason, I'm not in the mood for Star Wars. So, we'll see. But Ahsoka, yeah, no, I'm ready. I am ready. I am ready for it, and I cannot wait. And I really hope it lives up to the potential. I really hope Dave Filoni crafts something special, because he has that standalone Star Wars movie that was given to him that's supposed to wrap up this entire story with Ahsoka, with the Mandalorian, with, Boba Fett. And I want it to succeed. I want it to succeed because I love Star Wars. I just don't love a lot of the new Star Wars. But again, call me old fuddy-duddy. I don't give a fuck. I am old. I am old, and like I said before, I'm already one with my feelings. I'm selfish. I want things my way. It's just the way it is, man. It's just the way it is. But, before we go, there's one little bit of news that I do want to talk about, and it's real quick, that I was shocked by this news that dropped, I think, Tuesday, when Godzilla -1 was going nuts. And that is, apparently, we're going to get a third part to the 28 days, 28 weeks later series called 28 Years Later. And apparently Danny Boyle's on board to direct, and Cillian Murphy's on board to come back and reprise his role, which I'm all for. I'm all for. 28 Days Later was, in my opinion, one of the best zombie movies I've ever seen. Whether you want to call them zombies or not. The Infected, whatever you want to call them. I love that movie. That movie had me at the edge of my seat in the theaters from start to finish. I was like, yo, what's going on? And 28 weeks later, I loved it even more. It's crazy because it was like the military and zombies and the a quarantine zone, and it just made sense. Like, we bring people back, they can live there, and then one bad day leads to one thing, to another thing, to another thing, and it's just, I love it. So 28 years later, I am interested to see how they continue this. I really, really am. I mean, the end of 28 weeks later, we saw them running, the zombies running through Paris. So, I mean, 28 years later, I can only assume it's a post-apocalyptic world now. And, yeah, I am intrigued. Does the infection mutate? Because these things started to starve and die off on their own, which I thought was so good. I love that idea. Where are we? I don't know. That was just talks. They're down to do it. I'm pretty sure that a contract was signed. Nothing has been put to film yet. But that was just something I felt like I needed to throw in there to get excited about, man. And when more news of that comes along, oh, I cannot wait to get into it. But listen, that'll do it for this episode of the Geek Out. Thank you for joining us. If y'all Godzilla fans like I am, we've got several Godzilla block parties that have been put up over the past week. We've got another one dropping tomorrow. Everything's about Godzilla -1 because why not? Godzilla -1, Toho, you're back. I love you. Thank you so much for what you're giving to us. Come December 1st. It still should have been November 3rd. I'm just saying, Toho. But I ain't going to be that mad. It's only less than a month later. But that'll do it for this episode of the Geek Out. I am G1, and I'm out of here. Peace.